Hello, welcome back to a new tutorial. We make the next part of our car. We done it last time, and we made that here and the other stuff. That here, that must be have correct material. So we go in there and give them a black plastic. So we type in black and plastic. Then we have it, and we go near. We see we have our plastic. So good. That's that. This material is normally an other. It's filth, we call that in Germany. So we go in here plus, make a new material and call it filth black. So we have that. We add here an image texture, open, and I must look where I have it. Don't have it here. I have it at another place. Here. Computer hangs. Okay. So it must be, make it once again, open. You need this material. So this texture. So it can be some of that, but I want for that this and that I think is a good one. Um, we have to unwrap that before, so we need to mark the whole under bottom and mark them seam. At the back we can cut, so we can mark there all that not. What's that? So, and we can mark that and that. No, we only want the back side, so we mark that. It's equal. Good. And then we can make here U, unwrap, and we see we got this material on there. But at first we don't need the under part there. So we can delete here the completely words there that it is open, and we can do the same with the back. So it is an open stuff. That is good. And now we can give them a size where the uh, texture can work with. So that means we add here input texture coordinates where the texture should be. Then we need mapping where it should be, what's the scale of that, and so on. You know that all I told you often before. So that is no problem for you, I think. So then we now take here 9. You see, here's the 9 and another 9. Then we have more that look that it is. We have here a problem with this part there. That is because the texture then is bad. Then we need another texture. So we search for another texture. We get this texture, not really better. We can try another unwrap from you bounce. Makes it, yeah. This material is not good to make it with them. So we need a better material or a normal map to use that style of stuff. Um, so for the moment, we can search here to get one. I think that can be good. Good. That we can use as a vector for a normal map. So we add vector normal map, give that picture as a normal map. So we need to give that into the normal map. Then we need the UV that we baked from that. Then we can use it as a normal. Then you see what we get. And when we now mix it together with other stuff, it will have a function there. But I see that don't work in this part here. So we let it in a moment like it is. Oh, we try another thing. It can't be every time the same that we don't get finished our work here. So I try to recalculate them. I try to remove doubles. One. Okay. I try to clean up. There is nothing. And now I will try some. You see that texture is on there. It is on there. But the whole model have a problem with that. Um, that is because of the cutting. I think when we unwrap that, you see what happens here. He makes it so and post the texture on it, yeah. So that can't work, and this one can't also work, and that maybe should work. I normally unwrap, and we see it works, and we make that black, such like that, and that is good stuff. We can make it a little bit lighter because in the in of the car there is not very light up there. Yeah, good. We have that all. So the next part that we want to make is that we go into our car. That means that here, go in edit mode, and you see we have here a straight line from where the wheels in. We must make there a loop in, so we can extrude or we make a loop in. We make a loop in. There we can make this one, mark this one, and bring them down to the bottom of that. Then we can bevel them here. Control B. Oh, it's crashed. So we try it again. So take this one, get that one, give the loop in, get here smaller, bring it down a little bit up. Okay, then we can bevel that a little so that we have the round stuff for the interior there. Yeah, so we scale it on Y, maybe a little. We go back and only bevel them a little. Good. Then we bevel that and make it only a little. Good. We have done what we need. We have the round stuff here. So we want to extrude that in the middle. So extrude, put it in the middle. We have clipping on, so it fits together. Then we cut in there 3 times. Now we can take the inner circle because here must be the pedals later. So we go in here and do the same with the rest. So we can make the pedals in there, such like that. That's good. If you want, you can make them a little as uh, in high as the other one. but I don't think we need that. Good. You see, now we have closed that. Now we can give them a close to the up part when we get this whole line here and bring them up, extrude, pull up, scale, set 0 to get it straight way, scale, set 0. Yeah, and we have an absolutely straight line there. You can close that if you want with your stuff there, but later there comes the speedometer in, so it isn't important to close that really. So we see here a little hole in there. I must look what it is. Here is a hole. Here something's wrong. So we delete that what is wrong and search for the problem of that. We can close that in this way. It's not the best way to do that, but it works. So good. We have that all. Then the next part is we have here at the back the following problem. Our back part there is rounder than the car itself. So what we can do, we can delete these two words here, dissolve edges, and then it's as sharp as this before. We can grab them a little to get the same distance like here, and then it fits better together. Yeah, that is good. So next way that we have to do is we must clean up that whole thing here because it must be at this front point there, it must be round. So we go to this layer here where we have them, and here when we click there, we have them on them layer, and here we can change them. And you see that must be all going to one straight line, so we can round up that to fit with the classes in. So we go to side view, the right and side view, and then we take here with background the whole selection, and we only need the top parts. The rest we can delete. So, and we see that goes not through at all. That goes through at all. So that means that we all can delete. Not this way. Then we make it with circle selection and delete all this stuff. You see what I mean? And this here completely. So we have now one loop that goes completely through the whole object. We scale that in y0, so we have a straight line here. Then there are some words you can delete them. Then we make it on the same high, so scale set 0. So we have the downcoming part to that, and there later comes the window there, yeah, the front window. So we take one before, make the same, scale y0, and scale them a little in the set so that we get a round looking flow. What that is, I don't know. We scale it in the X. Good. So we have now a good flow to cut out the roundness before, but it can be a little bit more. That here we should scale in Y2. So we have a better coming over to the straight position. So we see now we can cut in there and give them the round stuff that it needs for the window and the front window. Yeah. So we can also delete that one here that we don't need. The only thing that we should have is that. Good. Same we make on the other side. That means that we can delete. So we have only this front thing there. That's good. That we can cut later. That is perfect. Then when you save that for first, then when you look at some pictures there, you will see the steering wheel has there an input, yeah, something that comes out and the steering wheel is on. So we add here a mesh, a cube, make them same as here, make it a little bit smaller, such like that. Then the whole thing should be a little bit scale in the Y. Then we can bevel them all to stuff like that. And then we can smooth them, rotate them, and bring them in. So we have later that thing that we need to get our steering wheel on. Good. And that is that we need at the first layer, surely. So we move them to the first layer. Then last time we build these two things here. We must have here a black plastic, so we give them here black plastic and an unwrap, so you unwrap the scale down function. So we must make here before in the object mode an apply from the rotation scale, then mark them all and unwrap and it have no problem. The same we make with this thing here. I told it you before we must delete here this down part. So X delete. So we have only this thing here. Then we need a new material for that. So plus and call it fills. So new fills black. Good. We make here a black material. We give them here an we need to take an image for that all. That image should be cotton stuff there. And nothing for cotton. That one can be good or that one. So we will try it. We must mark first the seams. So we must go to the loop and mark seam them. Then we need to mark the back, but without the front there. So only back here and mark seam. Then we can unwrap that whole thing. So unwrap. You see the scale isn't applied, so apply scale. So unwrap new one. Good. Now we need to make them smaller, so we make it with the UV. I'll make a save before. Then add input texture coordinates, where the coordinates should be. Then we need mapping. So in which rotation it have, which scale it have, and so on. You see there's directly another facing from that. And we can say now we want to have it smaller. That is too big. So we give them here 9, here 9, and we see we have a less material there. That isn't that much that before. We can try now many ways to get that textured. Yeah, can make it from you. That's all bad. Because the texture isn't really made for that. You see, there is a lighter thing, and the rest is too dark. So we can take here another material for that, such like that, and we see it's a little better, but we see only these things too. So we get there and get a normal map for that. So we get here in the normals, and we take this one here, I think. Yeah, it's a normal stuff texture. So we need them only as a normal map. So we can cut out that and get here a normal map vector and plug them in here. Give them the UV map and plug them into the normal. So you see that works. It's a little bit too much, I think, so we can take 5. Yeah, I think that is a good one. Yeah, you can make it with occlusion maps and so on, light maps to make it better if you like. Yeah, so file save. We make them into the middle, so that means we make here an Alt G to make it in the middle. The same with that, Alt G and the Shift C to bring them in the middle. So that means we don't need that anymore, that, and that. We don't need it. So we can delete it. So we have these things here. We give them now a group to work on. File, save. Then we go another layer. We see this layer here has only this tobacco ashtray thing there. That is our front stuff there. We can make from them instances, yeah, to bring them on the front thing there. That is possible all. Uh, so for the moment, I will let it stand like it is, you know that. And then we see what we do next. So see you next tutorial. Bye.